Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Yub Nub to all of you. We're going to talk Ewoks today. We've got a lot of news and a lot of images to go through and kind of get caught up. If you did not catch all of the live streams that came out of Star Wars Celebration, or if you don't follow me on social media, you may have missed some of the news regarding Ewoks in Star Wars Legion. Atomic Mass Games had a lot of stuff to show us, and we're able to talk a little bit about the Ewoks. This is going to be pretty fun, so we're going to wade through some pictures today. We're going to talk Ewoks. We've got a lot of images to show you, and a little bit of analysis and some guesswork on how Ewoks are going to look. We'll be looking at some of the things that we do know that they told us kind of outright, as well as some of the inferences that I'm going to make based on what we see and what we've heard. And I'm going to come to some guesswork kind of speculation type conclusions, but I'm also interested to hear what you guys think. So I'll let you know what I think, and then you let me know what you think. So if you guys are new here to the channel, we are still giving away a Shadow Collective core box in the form of a $70 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Also, huge thanks to today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. If you are looking to enjoy your Legion game even more and kick it up a notch in the token game, head over to luxuryplaystyle.com and check out some amazing full metal, beautiful tokens. They're double-sided. You're going to absolutely love these tokens. There are combat tokens to go on the game board, as well as your order tokens available, and new ones being in the works all the time. Check them out. Use code CRABOCK-VIP. You're going to save 15% on orders of $35 or more. You're also, if you use that code, you're also going to get a lightsaber nunchuck Krabok token, which is pretty cool. You're going to get that thrown in for free. It's a great way to mark commander, or also has a 5 on the backside, so you can mark higher instances of damage, which is just really, really cool. So again, loving these tokens. Check them out at luxuryplaystyle.com. All right, so we got some images of the Ewoks. They are really adorable. They're looking really cool. I will say this. I think one of the first things I noticed when they actually showed them to us is like the roots and like the wood that they're standing on. They're definitely, there's logs. There's obviously some great basing work, great paint job on these as well. So the display and the setup looked really cool. And there were a lot of them. There were a lot. It looked like there were 16 that they actually unveiled. Now, what do we know about Ewoks? Well, during the presentation that basically Asmodee put on, when we got to Star Wars Legion, they did talk a little bit about Ewoks. Simone was able to give us a little bit of information, as well as showed us a couple of screenshots, a couple of images of some of the Ewoks, and then, of course, after the presentation was done, we were able to go down into the case. Now, if you want to watch that live stream, I do have it. I'll put a link to that live stream at the end of the video. It'll be in one of the boxes on the side, so you can check that out. And I always encourage you to watch to the end of my videos, because that's usually when I announce giveaway winners. So, again, that will be at the end of a video after Shadow Collective comes out for the next giveaway, but giveaways are always at the end of videos, generally. But generally, these guys look really cool. They're very small, they're very tiny, and a lot of detail went into these miniatures. Now, we don't know a whole lot about them, but we know that they will be rebel mercenaries. We also know that they will have their own battle force. And that's a pretty cool thing. I think that's kind of in line with what we expected. But if they're rebel mercenaries that also have their own battle force, my thought is that you will be able to probably take some Ewoks in a regular rebel build, which does sound pretty cool, because that means you should be able to do a mixed kind of Return of the Jedi type build, where you can probably have Han and Chewie and a couple of Rebel troopers, maybe R2 and C-3PO out there, and then, of course, some Ewoks to go along. Now, we don't know if they're going to be core or special forces, or what their ranks are going to be. I would probably guess core. I would guess that Ewoks will come as a core option. I would also guess that if Ewoks have their own battle force, that we haven't seen everything for Ewoks. I would guess that we'll see a little bit more like gliders and things like that. And we do see some named characters here too. Like right here we see Wicket, who is, that's undoubtedly Wicket, right? Of course, our little Warwick Davis played Wicket, was kind of the first Ewok that you see, the most adorable and lovable Ewok, and A really cool character. And then, we also see right here, we see Logray, who was the Ewok medicine man, basically. I don't know if you want to call him a man, but that was how my little Return of the Jedi figure said Logray Ewok medicine man, or he's kind of like a shaman, And so, like that's cool. Of course, I expect him to probably be able to have some kind of healing ability, some kind of healing, like your medics typically have, but maybe something else. I don't know if it would be force related, although that would be kind of a cool idea if they gave him the ability to take a force option. I don't think he'll take a force upgrade though. It would be a pretty cool. And here's some guesswork for you. What if this was the perfect time to introduce magic into Star Wars Legion? We already know Night Sisters exist in Star Wars. I think with the inclusion of Battle Forces, a lot of people have speculated. I've certainly speculated that, a Dathomir faction or a Battle Force should be within the realm of possibility. And of course, we would love to see that. I would love to see something like that. But Night Sisters don't really use the Force the same way that the Jedi do. For them, it's more magic. What if Night Sisters aren't the only ones to use magic, and what if the Ewoks are able to use magic, and what if magic is its own new upgrade type? Wouldn't that be cool? Again, this is just guesswork by me, but I think that would be a fun thing, and I want to hear what you guys think. Would that be fun? Would that be cool? Or do you think it might be cleaner if any type of magical abilities are just restricted to command cards? Like, obviously, I'm guessing that Ewoks will have command cards for their commanders, operatives, and maybe just generic Ewok-specific command cards like they tend to do with Battle Forces and things like that. But that could be cool. Command cards do allow you to do a lot of different things. You don't necessarily have to have magic in the game, although I think magic would work. I think magic would be pretty cool. But so we do know that the Ewoks will be Rebel Mercs. We know that they will have their own battle force as well. We know also that they are slated for 2023 to go along with the anniversary for Return of the Jedi. And that's a very, very cool thing. And so these guys are going to be, we're going to have to wait a while. Even though they're kind of on display now, we're not getting them this year, right? These are probably going to be, like, my guess, summer 2023-ish, somewhere in there. Like, we don't have any kind of month or release date. That's just a guess, and it's really hard to guess. And it's probably a little irresponsible of me to guess. So I'm going to take away the summer guess and just say 2023 is what they're aiming for. That's probably when it will happen. So let's leave it at that. Now, we do know a little bit also that these guys are supposed to have the highest unit count, which I'm guessing you're going to have like more of them in a unit. Now, I'm not sure. We don't have a number. So now B1 battle droids have a pretty high unit count. They have 6 in a basic unit, plus you can add personnel and heavy weapon. So they have 6 as their base unit size. They can go up to 8. It is possible that the Ewoks might have more than 6 for their base unit, but that doesn't really add up to what we see here. So out of the 16 minis that we were first shown, my first reaction was, well, maybe they have 8 as a base unit size. But then when you look a little closer at these 16, 2 of them are heroes, right? Wicket and Logray, right here. So, okay, so that means, well, maybe it's only 7. But when we look at them a little bit more, we can see certain things like there's a guy on the far left here who is all the way on the far left who's got tools. And then there's a guy behind him with a horn, all right? And then they have this kind of the same thing on the other side. And of course, out of all these 16, half of them are kind of have spears and half of them have slings with rocks. So there's a lot that we can wager from these. At least that there's going to, there's going to be spear Ewoks. Probably going to be one unit type, maybe a little bit more melee focused. Maybe they can throw their spears also. And you're going to have a sling and a rock type unit. So they're going to be more ranged, probably less melee centric. And so that's kind of cool. I imagine the spear guys might have an exhaustible or a cycle kind of weapon to throw the spear, or maybe they're just going to be more melee. I don't know, because like spear you can throw it, but then what do you have after you throw it? Or you can just use it for stabbing, sort of like a thrusting kind of weapon. So it'd be interesting to see how the difference between our spear throwing Ewoks versus our sling and rock, the sling throwing Ewoks. Clearly, I think, I look at those and I think one's more melee, one's more ranged. And I think that's a pretty good foundation if you're trying to build some of your basic core options for a new battle force. I think there's also certain things we don't see. Like we don't see Chief Chirpa here. Now that doesn't mean there won't be a Chief Chirpa. I think they were just going to show us 16 minis, and that gives us a good flavor, a good sampling of things that we're going to see, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, again, we talked about this stuff on the side. We also, we know a few things about Ewoks, and I think some of these kind of tell us a little bit more, because for each side, over here where you have all the sling guys, you have an Ewok with a horn, kind of like a bard, or and then you have an Ewok with like tools. We do know that Ewoks will be able to build traps. They did say that, and of course that seems thematic. That's something you certainly see in the movies. But Ewoks, they did say they would not be very good against vehicles, whether it was like armored vehicles or heavy vehicles or what. My guess is that they will have a lack of impact. I do speculate that the Ewoks who are building traps may have an option to help them deal with vehicles, but that won't be the main aspect. Like Ewoks aren't going to start off with like impact 1 and things like and surge to critical. I don't think that they're going to have stuff like that as often, because that would certainly give them some good fighting power against vehicles, and I don't expect Ewoks to be able to do that, and I don't expect them to have an easy time penetrating armor. However, we do know that such things are possible from the movie, so it does, it seems within the realm of speculation that that if a trap is set correctly, that it could still, do some things against vehicles. So I don't think they'll be completely helpless, but I do think that will be a weakness of theirs. That's of course one of the things that was kind of alluded to in the in the briefing, that they said they would be weak against vehicles, which you would typically expect. So I want to zoom in a little bit closer, because out of all the 16 minis, we have some guys on the side, right? So it looks like from what they've shown us, now this doesn't mean that this is exactly what the unit's going to look like, but this could be a rough example, that we see Wicket and we see Logray, presumably maybe operative and commander, maybe 2 operatives, maybe commander and operative, who knows? But 2 heroes, 2 named characters. Then we see 5 sling Ewoks, and then 2 specialty guys on the side. Again, here's our Ewok with the horn. So maybe he's a motivator, maybe he's a leader, maybe he's giving Inspire 1, which kind of would be cool. Like there's a lot of ways that like to play the bard type role of an Ewok. And then we also have this one that looks like he's got, some rope and some tools and like a hammer. This is clearly some Ewok out there who is looking, to cause some trouble. And by the way, look at this Ewok. He's on a log with spikes coming out of it. That looks like a dangerous log. So I'm kind of getting the vibes from like a Cad Bane type token or a Saboteur that can kind of set those traps, and that's a fun play style that is not done too much. I think you see Sabine with her explosions, you see things like that happen, but you don't see a whole lot of Saboteur play and as much as you used to, because there's so many more options for special forces. So that could be a really fun thing about Ewoks. And of course, on the other side, we have the spear guys. We also have 5 spear guys on display, plus these 2 other guys. Now, again, our tool guy looks a little different, but he still appears to be an Ewok with tools. And then, of course, we have another Ewok with a horn and back on the side with all of the 5 spear guys. So it could just be that Ewoks have a base unit count of 5, because we do see 5 Ewoks with spears. That could certainly be. Now, if we do have Ewoks that have exactly 5, then that doesn't mean that they have the highest, mini count, right? But it could be that they maybe they have more, personnel upgrades and heavy weapon upgrades so that they can go higher than B1s. Or maybe by highest unit count, that might just simply mean that they can take more than 6 core. Now, it would be tough, because there's also the droid invasion that supposedly can go up to 8 B1 battle droids. So again, we're gonna have to wait and see. I have some different speculations. One idea is that maybe this was just a rough sampling and wasn't meant to be concrete information. Like 5 might not be the exact number that goes into an Ewok unit. Maybe they can go up to like 8 or 9 or 10 even. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And if so, that's going to be a lot of Ewoks to paint. Now, these are also very, very tiny, too. These are about half the size of like your normal stand-up miniatures. So, from a certain point, especially if you're doing like some dry brushing and stuff like that, they may paint up really quick and easy. I think it'll be real easy to get these tabletop ready. And if you want to take them to that super extra deluxe extreme, it'll be a little tougher. But stock up on your brown paint and your Agrax Earthshade and stuff like that now, because they do look pretty cool. Again, as far as speculation goes, I've got more speculation. I do expect Chief Chirpa to show up. I do expect, a glider. I do expect, things like ways to include possibly Wookiees or Chewbacca with them. I also expect it would be really cool if there was a way to include C-3PO to run with the Ewoks Battle Force. How cool would that be? Like maybe it's just an extra unit card where you can run the C-3, because C-3PO is only a detachment. He's only like that companion. He's the counterpart to R2-D2. You can't run him by himself. But here, what if you could run him by himself? And that would be awesome. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. More information will come out of this at Mini Stravaganza, so make sure you are tuning in. Again, I'll be doing the watch party thing, so if you want to come hang out with me for Mini Stravaganza, and we'll talk about it, we'll speculate, we'll watch the show together, and then we can talk about it afterwards too. We'll have more information there. That's going to do it for today. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible, so thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you soon. May the Force be with you, and as always, Yub Nub.